I'm beginning to see a few commentators who are starting to acknowledge fascist Christianity as the cause of the problems in this country politically. The most recent, or I should say the first one to broach that term, although she calls it Christian nationalism, is Jennifer Rubin at the Washington Post. Bless her heart. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was the first time I saw her refer to white Christian nationalism as a cult that has overtaken the Republican Party. I don't think she used the word cult. That's my word. But thank goodness people are starting to become aware. And people who have a much greater influence than some of us down here on the podcast list, people who have greater influence in letting other people know, letting the general public know how serious this threat is. And media often refer to the obsessions with these damned Republicans, Christian fascists. The media refers to it as culture wars. I mean, that's such bullshit, as if there are two sides seeking to impose, each side trying to impose its views on the other side, which is not the case. There is, in these so-called culture wars, this conflict between people who respect democratic government and the fascist Christians. Only one side there is repudiating democracy, and that is the white Christian, mostly rural Americans who are terrified that they're going to become a minority group. And this is a last-ditch mad effort to maintain or retain their political power. You know, I don't think white people will ever be a true minority in this country. They're going to become a plurality in this country. They're going to lose their majority status, and it's going to be very soon, because people who are not white, as defined by the Census Bureau, will be the largest demographic group. But that group will break into three, four, five non-white factions. So white people are just losing their shit about something that really is not going to happen. But, you know, perception is 9/10 of reality. So when you have white rural Christians who are being fed this bullshit 24/7, and not just by the Fox sewer, but I've said this before, listen to your FM dial sometime. Go through the FM dial starting at its lowest point, working your way up, and you will hear Christian fascist broadcast after Christian fascist broadcast by these modern day hucksters, all of them white, all of them male, not all, about 90% of them male, preaching a gospel of separatism, fear, hatred, disgust, contempt. It just doesn't stop with these people. Even though they really don't have that much to worry about, except white people are just, I don't know, maybe it is a realization finally of the damage that whites have done in this country, and not just in this country, but I try to keep it focused on the United States. You know, from minute one, when the Constitution was put together by slave owners, and starting out with this, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Oh, come on! But anyway, I digress. So Jennifer Rubin, in her column today, is pointing out that the Republican Party is no longer a party. It's a movement to impose white Christian nationalism. Amen, Jennifer. But please, Jennifer, if you could, if you're listening, start referring to it as what it is. It is white Christian fascism. Now, I know that some commentators don't differentiate between fascism and nationalism, given the history of the two and the melding of those two. But I just think it would be more honest and open and in people's face if it was referred to as Christian fascism. And this is coming from a party, a political party that once just was, so worried about government overreach. And now that party, since that party is dead and has been eaten by fascist Christians, that party now seeks to control medical care for transgender children. Well, wasn't there some law just passed in Texas that if you are the parent of a transgender child under the age of 18 and you're seeking medical intervention with medical professionals about how to deal with this, that now you are subject to arrest for child abuse? I mean, this is not Republican Party stuff. As much as those people disgust me, that's not Republican Party. That's Christian fascism, dear heart. That's exactly what it is. And these are the same people who are trying to retaliate against the Disney Corporation because Disney objected to a bill that tries to target lesbian and gay and bisexual and transgender kids in Florida. And it raises the question, doesn't it, of why is it that the most ambitious Republicans, let's call them, that's what Jennifer Rubin calls them, are spending more time battling this non-existent critical race theory in schools than they're spending on fighting for health care and against inflation. The Republican Party, it's going to continue to be called that by media. Republican Party has no agenda for the American people except fear, rage, anger, disgust, contempt, and that's what identifies them as fascist Christians. You know, it's the Christians who will tell you flat out. Their whole theology is based on you accept this 2,000-year dead rabbi as the Messiah, the son of a invisible pretend sky spook. You accept that rabbi as the Messiah or burn in hell for all eternity. What the fuck? Come on. Come on. But that's what the insistence is. So to explain all of this, why what is still referred to as the GOP or the Republican Party, why they are the way they are, you have to acknowledge that it's no longer a political party. They don't stand for anything. They're not working toward anything, nothing. It's become a movement dedicated to one thing, imposing white Christian fascism on the rest of us. And God help you if you resist. Then the Trump ghost will come and haunt your bedroom at night. Jesus, culture wars, the media describe it. Culture wars. So the result of all this, and Rubin points this out, the result is a definable pattern now. Here's the pattern. Anytime there is a moment of social progress in this country, I don't care what it is, women's rights, children's rights, religious rights, political rights, anytime there is a moment of social progress, it's almost followed immediately by reactionary panic on the part of these right-wing fascist Christians, and they're screaming that they're victims of social progress. Somehow it's anti-Christian. It's anti-fascist Christian. Well, I'll agree with that. And it's not a coincidence that Trump, the scummy son of a bitch, who was the leader of the birther movement, how many years did he antagonize Obama that Obama wasn't an American or wasn't a Christian? The son of a bitch. And it's not a coincidence that he became president after the first African-American president elected in this country. White panic. That's all. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.